Well, welcome to Ask a Responsive Fundraiser, where we take your questions to a fundraising expert so that ultimately you can grow generosity. Today, we're taking your questions to Trevor Nelson. Trevor Nelson is the co-founder and president of HGA Fundraising, host of the Hey Nonprofits podcast, and a former endurance athlete who lives in upstate California with his wife and two daughters. Now at HGA, Trevor and his team help nonprofits across North America succeed at fundraising events, not just through top-performing auction items, but by offering free coaching, a webinar series, and the Hey Nonprofits podcast. Trevor, thanks for being here. You ready for some questions today?
Absolutely, man. What a beautiful intro.
Yeah,
Thanks, God. Yeah,
I know.
appreciate you.
Everyone reacts differently, right? Hearing your bio read, and but we're pumped for you to be here and to share some expertise.
Hearing my bio read makes me red. I'm not comfortable with hearing things like that about myself, man. Thank you so much for having me and for having us. Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to jump in. The first question is this. We tend to see strong one-time gifts during events, but then struggle to build lasting relationships after the event. So what are some ways that we can use the event as a springboard to strengthen donor relationships?
I think that's a question that we can have an hour-long conversation with, but I'm going to keep it more myopic. I think that there's a tremendous opportunity when you have an event like that, when you have folks give at whatever level, whatever capacity, if they bought an auction item, if it was in the fund of need, if it was signing up for the monthly recurring program that you offered at your event. I think that you use the most powerful fundraising tool that you have. If you're not seeing me, I'm holding up my phone. I think that you pick up the phone and you engage with those people. If you're having any difficulty with that, that can never do you wrong. People, for some weird reason, think that, oh, they gave and they know we're grateful. But I'm going to tell you right now, no news is not good news. And it's a tremendous opportunity to engage with those folks that gave. They obviously have a vested interest in your organization and seeing it succeed. Hopefully you had an opportunity to meet them face to face, shake their hand and thank them. And when I say thank, it's when folks have any fear or any trepidation, or you just don't know what to do in that case, oh, I don't like asking for money. It's like, well, we're not talking about asking for money in this case. We're talking about, if you don't know what to say, just say thank you.
Yeah.
We take it so far. We say have a planned gratitude strategy in place. That's probably been said a lot. I had a great conversation with Kevin Brown this week about that. And what's so funny, he said, we have a planned gratitude campaign for our clients. That's thank them 7 times. Your donors, your stakeholders, your supporters, the folks that attended, thank them 7 times before you ask them for money again. And I was like, that's exactly what we say. So it was like the 7 habits of highly effective fundraisers or something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, he's like, we got to find out where we got that from, because he's in Malaysia. We had never met. And I said, that's exactly what we do. And I just think, Scott, I mean, it's such a unique opportunity and such a wonderful thing to have people in the same room gathering together. That's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, that community piece is just a whole nother, piece, but just outreach. It has to be, you have to engage with people. If you don't know what to say thank you, and you will not have a problem. I will also double tap on that by saying, I don't think a lot of the organizations that you're competing with, quote unquote, down the street, that might even be working on the same mission, I highly doubt they're doing the same thing as effectively if you're really putting this strategy of gratitude and graciousness and thanking people into practice. And so when I say that, it supersedes competition. So if you're worried about other organizations, I'm not saying you should be preoccupied with that, but let's just say it does come into your purview. Differentiation, as we say, is stronger than competition 8 days out of the week. So be different, be gracious. If you don't know what to say thank you.
Yeah. Man, that's really helpful, and I feel like gives people some good first steps to take, as well as more to unpack, like thinking through, well, what actually is our gratitude strategy? How do we grow this? What does this look like?
Yeah.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, you're identifying some mid-level major givers, new givers, all those, hey, maybe have the board write a thank you card, to the major givers of the evening. And I'm not, there does need to be a hierarchy of sorts, right? With that kind of stuff. As far as I'm talking about time and resources, everyone needs to be touched and thanked in that regard. But I actually heard something really quick, Scott, that very, very interesting. A first-time giver, if they get a phone call from the ED or CEO, or even the founder of the organization, the likelihood they'll give again is 40%.
Wow.
And the likelihood that that same person will give again if they hear from the board,
Yeah.
400%.
Wow.
Yeah, to chew on that.
Hard to argue with, right?
Yeah, and but
Yeah.
once again, it all leads back to be grateful, be gracious, lead with thank you. It means something. It's different. It's never bad. Never a bad use of time.
Yeah, that's super helpful.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into question number 2. It's this: I'm finding donor attention is harder to get than ever, and we're trying to create more memorable experiences to stand out. So how do we design things like auctions or raffles in a way that really connects for the long term and doesn't just raise money in the moment?
I think it's awesome. I think we just touched on the previous question a little bit as well. It's like you have this unique opportunity to gather people in the same space so they can network and see each other and see the work that you're doing, invite them to your location. There's this, that is what donors at all levels, and human beings in general, but donors at all levels are craving that connectivity, right?
Yeah.
It's real. Not going anywhere. It's very easy being the event, auction, trips and experiences, folks to say that, yes, you need to get people gathered in groups and what have you. Does there always have to be a fundraising element? Not necessarily, as a matter of fact. It could be a celebratory element. It could be a sponsorship thank you event. It could be, these are our top sponsors, supporters, givers of all time of the last 12 months. That could be a great opportunity to get everybody together. It's seldom that every organization has the opportunity to show folks, hey, this is the work that we're doing. You can really see it and feel it. Like if you build trails or something like that for people to use and access, I'm really seeing, feeling that the wind's going through, my hair when I'm going down on a bike or something like that. But showing folks, showcasing your work, giving them an opportunity to give you feedback, spending time with people, the greatest asset that you have to give with folks that care about your organization. All of these community-minded, let's gather together and spend time together and see the work and talk about the work and be open for feedback about the work. Because I use the term like stakeholder, investor, already. These people that have given to your organization do have ownership shares like a private sector company, right? That's publicly traded. If you view it that way, you're opening yourself up to good feedback and people that give. Most people, now there are going to be some that write checks and slip them underneath the door and they do it anonymously. And I think that's beautiful and what have you. But that's more outlier, right? Type situations. Sure. Folks want feedback. And I guess I'm on this because I say it a lot, but that's also different. And that will supersede competition with other organizations and the competition for time and for money and resources any day of the week. So, I think just any one of these ideas like sponsorship events, community events, celebratory events, awards, things like that, all apply.
Yeah. Well, it really builds a brand too. I feel like we talk about brand and automatically you think of our logo, our colors, our website, and that's just, yes, wrapped into brand, but really a brand is how do you do everything and how do you show up? And I think that can really start to build that you're known for something that people are drawn to and can be really impactful.
I couldn't agree more. You said it well put too. It's like, and your brand is your people.
Yeah.
And how do we get to know people? How are we going to build these relationships if we don't get around each other? Right. So no, 100%. Well put.
Yeah. All right. Question number 3, last one, says this: during our events, it's hard to know who's just there for the night and who might be a long-term donor. So what are some of the signs that we should be looking for that tell us who's worth following up in a more intentional way?
Okay. I'll go a little bit off the beaten path with this one. But also, if they're there, everyone deserves your attention. So, of course, number one, casting kind of a wide net. In our space, being very event specific and very auction specific and whatnot, when I said off the beaten path, let's just say you have turnover of 30% of your crowd year over year. And I'm hearing some data where it's like 50% of our crowd is new year over year. So, and we can get into another, do another deep dive into getting the right people in the room and how to engage the right people in your board and committee and supporters to get the right people in the room. Sponsorships, underwriting, the whole nine. That's a whole different ball game. Off the beaten path means someone that's never been in your room before. Let's just say they're bidding on a live auction item and they don't win. The item sells for $5,000 and they were in at the $4,000 level. And you're the executive director, development director, CEO, founder, board, any one of those monikers would apply. This person was willing to give your organization $4,000 and has never been to your event before.
Yeah.
And they didn't win. Well, I think you should really, really try to utilize that opportunity to get them to bid on something else because they were willing to spend that money at your event. But that being said, if someone doesn't know your organization, but they know enough to give at that level, wow, massive opportunity. That happens and slips through people's fingers incessantly in our space, unfortunately. That same would apply to the silent auction, online auction. If someone drove the bidding up to $4,000, $5,000 for an item, it could be $2,000, and they were the $1,800 level bidder, but they had never been to your event. Data, you have the data, you see it. If you're there in person, you can identify these people that were willing to give at those levels. Well, how long does it take your dev team to identify a new mid-level donor or major giver? And they're right there in your room. If I've said this once, I've said it 100 times in like the last 6 weeks. A really good friend of ours, Susanna Doyle, who was in the tech space and worked for Muscular Dystrophy Association as well on events, said your best prospect list is the attendee list from the event that you just had. And I wish there was original IP of mine, but I have to give Susanna credit every time I say it. So whether I say it like this verbally or I type it or what have you, I'm always giving her flowers for that because it's so obvious and also so true, and it's right there.
Yeah.
And so, and also the person that wins an item like that or gives, in the paddle raise or fund a need or mission moment or whatever title you want to use, if they give it the $1,000 level and you've never met them before, oh my gosh, you have the beautiful opportunity to meet them right then and there, and then also to thank them post event and just make sure you never stop communicating with them.
Yeah. Man, Trevor, this has been so helpful. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom and insights. Before we go, can you help people if they would like to connect with you, the team, and maybe take some next steps with HGA Fundraising?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, we're super easy to reach and super, we have an alacrity for this. We love what we do. So HGAfundraising.com is easy. We're super active on LinkedIn. You can just find me, Trevor Nelson, on LinkedIn. The Hey Nonprofits pod is on YouTube. Show us some support on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you like, any social channel. We're fundraisers. Like I said, we're in the trips and experience business and in the event and auction space, but we're not travel agents. We're fundraisers, and that's how we're different. We're the most mission-focused group there is in our space. We love this. We love giving our best information away for free. We do it daily, and we'd be tickled if anyone would reach out to us that we can help. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for being with us today. It's been super helpful.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me, Scott. Thank you so much to you and your team.